Craig, you got the lucked out. You got the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah. Okay. So the Dolphins, I think they kind of exceeded expectations last year with 10 wins. I think the first year under Brian Flores, they went 5-11, I believe. Or yeah, 5-11. So last year they went 10-6. Almost made the playoffs. Really, really close to making the playoffs. Believe they finished tied with the seventh place team last year. So kind of have more high expectations coming into his third season. And I'm right there for it. Like he's under that Bill Belichick tree, which a lot of Bill Belichick like assistants turned coaches haven't really fared too well as coaches. So I'm hoping that even though he has an under 500 record, kind of give him a little bit of a pass on his first season. I hope that he can come in this season, he can make even more strides or even, come close to what he did last year. It's going to all hinge on their quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa. Like, I don't know what to expect from this guy. I mean, last year had to be really emotional for him getting his chance to play and then getting pulled. And then, like, he never knew when he was going to get pulled. So mentally, like, I don't know what he was going through. Obviously this year, and I mean, kind of hats off to Flores for, like, he, even though he kind of had that whole coaching or that quarterback carousel or quarterback, pulling quarterbacks in and out, he still went 10-6. So, to me, that's kind of, hats off to him for that. But at the same time, you kind of put your rookie quarterback in maybe in like a tough mental spot. But now he doesn't really have to worry about that. It's pretty much his team to lead basically with Fitzmagic on. So, I kind of want to see him take more strides and make better reads, lead his offense because he has a lot of weapons on offense now, and just not turn the ball over. That's pretty much the key. Just don't turn the ball over. He had a lot of maybe not turnovers, but he had like a lot of turnover worthy type of plays last year. So plays that could have been turnovers. So, I kind of want to see him take that next step. Obviously, it's only his second year, but he has the burden off his back of not having to look over his shoulder anymore. So he should have a solid season, I believe. Now, the running back spot, like, they don't have a number one running back. Myles Gaskin is not that. Last year they had even worse backfield, but Myles Gaskin kind of stepped up and kind of led the team. So he's back again as the overall top guy. Maybe he can have 1,000-yard season. I think he has that in him. But the rest of his overall group with Malcolm Brown, I think Malcolm Brown's solid, but he didn't really get much of a chance in LA. So we'll have to see what he can do as well. I don't really have any high expectations for that running group, but the wide receiver group I do. Even though Will Fuller's on suspension, he should come back and kind of hopefully he'll fit right into this offense. Jalen Waddle, obviously 6th overall pick, he should be really good. I think he's going to be a really good deep threat for this offense. And Devontae Parker, he's been just like Corey said with Chris Herndon. Like, I picked Devontae Parker, I don't know how many times in fantasy, hoping that he would break out. And I think he had one solid year for me, but overall he just hasn't been anything. So I'm hoping that maybe he can step up this year and deliver on those 16th, 17th, 18th round draft picks for me, and come through. I like the tight end Mike Gesicki. I think he's a top 10 tight end. Excuse me. So he should get a lot of reps as well. So Tua pretty much has 3 solid wide receivers and a really good tight end that he can throw the ball to. So as long as he just doesn't force it, turn the ball over, the offense should be solid. The offensive line, though, is probably going to be the biggest issue. They're not going to be anything to write home about. It's just Tua might be running for his life back there. I think the draft pick of Liam Eichenberg, the guard, I think that was a good pick because they needed offensive line help. But the rest of the offensive line is pretty much, and I don't even know if he's going to pan out. But the offensive line is pretty much a no-name, like who's who are you type offensive line. So I'm kind of disappointed that they didn't go out and try to maybe they did, but they didn't get the job done in making the offensive line better than they are right now. So Tua might be running for his life back there, might be getting hit a lot. So I'm hoping that that doesn't happen, because Tua's not like a big stocky type quarterback anyway to me, but it's going to be difficult for him to survive getting hit because of this offensive line. The secondary, it starts with Xavion Howard. They restructured his contract a couple of days ago after he demanded a trade, which was really good for this defense, because they're going to need him to come through like he did last year and had the same type of season that he had last year. Brian Jones, another solid defender. These two guys, like if these two guys can play like they had played last year, I think they're one of the better secondaries in the NFL. The rest of the group though, nothing too good here. McKinney, I think for the linebackers, he's decent. Baker's regressed, so I'm not seeing big things out of them. So I don't know where this group goes. I think overall they have talent. They have enough talent to win at least 10 games again, like they did last year. I like the Jalen Phillips pick. I thought that was a really good pick for them for their defensive line, but I still don't have it highly rated overall. But I think if they can get I'm thinking they can get 10 wins. I think they can go 10-7. They went 10-6 last year. I got them at 10-7 this year. Not going to win the division, obviously, but I think it might be able to push for a playoff spot. That extra game. So I'm going Dolphins 10-7 and pushing for a playoff spot.
Okay, Corey, what you got for the Dolphins?
When it comes to the Dolphins, starting with the coaching, much as I'll get into with the Packers and LaFleur, I'm still not entirely sure what to make of Brian Flores. Like Robert Saleh is this year, Flores took over having to pick up the pieces of Adam Gase 2 years ago from the Dolphins, which is, not necessarily an easy task. He did have the Dolphins competitive last year, but the musical chairs at quarterback was an odd choice, to say the least, and I would say absolutely cost them a playoff spot. I do wonder whose choice that was, though. What did Flores get to make the final call, or was that a call from above him and the GM, as they saw Houston losing and saw that draft pick they were getting from the Texans was going to be high, so they needed to see what they had in Tua, because if they're going to have a shot at another quarterback this year, they needed to. So it would be interesting to see where that came from. But also, he's from the Belichick coaching tree. Historically, again, it's not good. Again, as we covered, Bill O'Brien's probably the best so far of that coaching tree, and that says all you really need to know about that. The offense, the success is going to come down to Tua. The running back room isn't going to scare anyone, but it's solid. They can do something by committee. Parker, Fuller, Waddle, I think will make a solid wide receiver trio. We'll see how many games Fuller plays, because he's always hurt. But Gesicki is a solid tight end. So the pressure is going to be on Tua to keep up that momentum from last year that they started to build. Their collapse week 17 against the Bills was embarrassing. They were going against the backups of Buffalo in the second half and still got routed. So Tua's got a lot of pressure to prove that he really is the guy. And as Craig said, that the offensive line isn't stellar, so it's going to be that much harder for him to, and just add that much more pressure. So we'll see if he can live up to it. The defense, solid, okay. They got Howard taken care of, which is good. That you won't have that headache bleeding into the season. We'll see how well they can get after the quarterback, but the defense should at least be middle of the road. Top somewhere in there. So, yeah, enough to make another playoff run if they can get decent quarterback play. So overall, yeah, I think it just comes down to Tua, how well he plays. So the Dolphins last year should have been in the playoffs over the Colts. They got embarrassed by the Bills. Yeah, I think it's a roster that if you say swapped out Tua for Deshaun Watson, I think that they would be potentially in a Super Bowl contender category rather than just playoff contender. So, pressure's on to see if, Tua can take control of that team. And because I'm also curious how the locker room feels about him. Nobody's going to come out and publicly bash him or anything, but, Fitz was popular. They were winning with Fitz. Tua comes in, they struggle, and things get a little uneven. Fitzpatrick didn't play anywhere near to a level that would deserve getting benched. So, I'm curious, how that went over in the locker room as well. And, Tua getting handed the job, has he been able to win over the locker room too? So we'll see. But I'm going to go 10-7 for the Dolphins.
Okay. Yes. Corey, you made a good point. I wouldn't have sat Fitz. I would have just rocked with him all year, let him learn, let Tua learn on the bench. And then I don't see the need to, if everybody takes a page out of Kansas City book, it's just let him sit for a year. It's okay. It's all right. I don't get it. All right, but Brian Flores, he's in his third year. So far he's been doing good. It's positive results. They finished 10-6 last year, so we got to see. Tua, he had a rough rookie year, but he was also coming back from a hip injury, and it was COVID. So I think he's been healthy so far, and I think he's shown improvement in camp so far. The running backs, Myles Gaskin and Malcolm Brown, they're not. They're okay. They're okay. The offensive line, they had Austin Jackson coming back. He was drafted high last year as a left tackle. So let's see if he can protect Tua's blind side. Mike Gesicki, he had a great season last year. Let's see if he continues to build a rapport with Tua. Now the receivers, they look totally different. Jalen Waddle, who I love coming out the draft, I think he's going to be phenomenal. They got Will Fuller. I think he's suspended 2 games. And then they have Devontae Parker. Their receiver core is great, and it's going to help. It's going to help out Tua a lot. The defense, oh man, you talk about. They got Christian Wilkins, Raekwon Davis. They're going to be wrecking opposing offenses. Bernardrick McKinney, he's good. He's a solid linebacker. They played well last year, him and Jerome Phillips. They really good. The Dolphins was the best team last year at creating turnovers. And then the defensive backs still loaded. So you got Xavion Howard on one side, and then you have Byron Jones on the other. So, good luck throwing on the defense. And they got Javon Holland. They have Eric Rowe and Javon Holland. Javon Holland has looked good in camp so far with some interceptions and fumble recoveries. My overall prediction, the Dolphins' defense was great last year. It caused the most turnovers in the NFL. It's going to be Tua in the offense. Can Tua get the offense to the next level? I think because of Jalen Waddle and Will Fuller, I think he can. And I think the Dolphins are going to be in the playoffs. I got them at 11-6. I think they take the next step. We'll see.